Welcome, everyone. In this segment, I'm going to talk about a very important component of, actually, two important components of web development. The two things I'm talking about are uh, storyboards and wireframe. So, a lot goes into web development. Oftentimes, when website is developed from scratch, it is hard to tell what goes on during the development process and the planning. So what I'm going to do is just go through storyboard and wireframe and how to come up with that. But before that, I'm going to talk about some of the tools that you can use for that. Microsoft Visio is a very good tool for that. If you can lay your hand on a very good flowchart diagram or network diagram software, that will be awesome. And so when I was researching some of the free ones that are out there, the Microsoft Visio is paid one. In the past, I think it was free. But over here, these are some of the ones that this guy came up with. His name is Joel Lee. The samples he has here are Deer, YED, Graph Editor, Think Composer, Pencil Project, LibreOffice Draw, Diagram Designer, Plant UML. So these are some of the free tools that he came up with, but we don't even need to go that far to be able to do this, because Microsoft Office, Publisher, and similar tools, and even PowerPoint have some tools that can be used to do these these two easy tasks. And let's say I have, let me assume a business name I will call Peter's Awesome Graphics Incorporated. And let's say Peter's Awesome Graphics. The parts of the wireframe we want here is Peter's Awesome Graphics, the heading, the homepage, and the index. Either one of these will refer to the same thing. Business description and contact information. A typical wireframe will have these parts and probably one or two more components, but the less complex it is, the better. And then the storyboard for Peter's Awesome Graphics Incorporated, you can divide into two pages that are linked to each other and to the main page. There will be all of these. This will be the main page, and these are the sample pages that you will create and link to the main page and link to one another. Actually, I'm looking at this graph here, this grammar here, to one another. Yeah, I tend to be very specific about grammar. So I'm going to go ahead and look at this part, external website. This will be the external website that will be linked to that page. So without wasting much time, let me go ahead and get started. So I'm going to hold Control key on the keyboard and hit N as in Nancy. Another way I can do this, let me close, is to go to File and say New, and just double click on the blank page there, and it will give me a new page here. So let me go ahead and start the creation process. I'm going to title it Wireframe and Storyboard for Peter's what did we call it? Awesome Graphics Inc. Okay, so the first part of this, I'm going to bring something up here. The first part of this will be pages all linked to one another. Okay, I'm sorry, it'll be the first part we have here will be the wireframe, that we have these three parts. So let's get started with the wireframe first. let's say wireframe. So this is like the architecture, pretty much. When you have an architect try to design a building, that's what he does. He gives you the design of the building, and you can look at the blueprint of what the building will look like once it's finished. The rooms, their locations, the kitchen area, the toilet, the living room, the parlor, the hallway, everything is visualized. So the same thing is what we're doing here with these tools, wireframe and the storyboard. So the wireframe for this one, I will go ahead and let me use, there are many ways to do this, but I'm going to use one big table cell to hold the rest of the elements that's going to go into the wireframe here. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to put it there, and this will be the wireframe. Let me complete it for, let me copy and paste. So this will be the wireframe there, and once I have this, I'm going to go ahead and over here, I'm thinking of the right tool to use, whether to use text box. Text box will be very nice to use for each of these. So there are many ways to accomplish this, really. But I'm going to go ahead and skip text box and use shapes. Okay, so I'm going to grab this shape right there, and I'm going to draw, and I can put in a text there and say Peter's awesome graphics incorporated, right? Okay, we have that. This will be the main heading there. Remember the parts of this that we have. The heading, this part most likely what will be on the home page, or what is usually called the index, and then we're going to have the business description and contact information. So once I have that over there, I can actually copy and duplicate that, or I just insert a new one. So I'm going to hit enter. Oops, it's going down there. Let's reverse that step. Okay, that's not going anywhere. Let me just click somewhere there to put it in. So I'm going to go ahead and do another one, and this will be business description. So I'm going to call this business description. Okay, and the next one, so if I want, I can go back there, or I can easily make a copy of this one. If I, let me hold it down and hold the control key and drag it, see if it copies. Voila, it does. Okay, so it copies. So I'll go ahead and expand this right here to create additional space for it, and I will move it down here, and I'm going to go ahead and expand it. I will expand and edit the content. I'm going to call it contact information. Okay, so I'm looking at what looks like a good architecture for the website. So having put the wireframe together, I'm going to go ahead and look at the storyboard. Speed the wireframe. Let's make it bold. And down there, we're going to do the storyboard. Next, storyboard. Storyboard. Actually, let's copy this one and bring it over there to avoid unnecessary repetition. Paste. Storyboard for Peter's awesome graphics. I'm going to correct that. So if you look at this, this is not bolded at this part. So I'm going to go ahead and select it and bold and go back there and insert the missing word. I will come back there and make my correction. All right, so the next one will be this storyboard. I'm going to use another one cell of a table as the huge content, the basket, if you will, for it. And it's actually more advisable to go ahead and move to the next page so I can have enough space for this. And what I'm going to do here is change the layout to landscape so that it will give us more room, especially for the storyboard. So once I do that, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Let me hit delete a few times so this can come all the way up. And once I have that, as a matter of fact, I can copy the one above and reuse it, or just for the interest of learning and enjoying the exercise, I'm going to go ahead and start a new one, new table cell, and we have one huge cell there, and go ahead and drag and expand, and we have our 2 pages. So this one table cell will be the basket for the rest of our storyboard elements. I'm going to go back there and I will look for shapes. I'm going to grab this one, and so I'll go over there and drop this shape there. So I'm going to call it main page. This will be the main page of my website, and I'm going to go ahead and get another table cell for this. So why is this part relevant? Why is this grandchild of the main parent or the storyboard important? Because it's going to be the container. This one is going to be the container for all of these in our storyboard. Okay, it's going to be the container for all of these. The main page is by itself, and these will be linked to the web page. Let's go ahead and differentiate them there. And these will be the external websites right there. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and save and go back to my drawing. Oops, where is it? Okay, taking the longest way to do it. Let me go ahead and quickly delete this and try another approach. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We need about 8 of those cells. So I'm going to go ahead and do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So I have 10. And you're going to find out in a minute why I made it 10 instead of the 8 that I need. So what we're going to do here is expand this a little bit. Expand, expand, expand. And then see if we can move it up a little bit. Oh, okay, yeah, that's good. All right. So over here on this side, I need 1, 2, 3, 4. I need the About Us page for the ones that were linked to the main page, About Us, Photo, Gallery, Contact Us, Online Hangout. I need about 4 of those, or maybe if I get 3 there, that's fine. Just that would sound good, well, for our example. So we have our main page up here, and we have the choice to keep using this. Don't get me wrong, we can use multiple of these to do that down here, but I figured the table will be much better. So to make it uniform and neat, it makes sense to use this to maintain regularity there. with the background and everything. But to make it very quick and get through the demonstration quickly, I'm going to use the table cells down here. So this is going to be our About Us page. And we're going to have the photo gallery. And this will be the contact us page. Let me go ahead and correct that. And let's call this online hangout, where people can come and chat with you. Okay. And what we might have to do here is to remove the border here to divide them. So on this side we have local weather, we have feedback and ratings, we have maps and directions. What else we have there? Operational, calendar, and maybe partner site. Those will be external sites actually. Miscellaneous partner sites. So we have that. Weather. Oops. No save yet. So we have. It's looking pretty good so far. So what we have to do here is, since this represents the part that we link to one another and link to the web page, we're going to go ahead and show that separation here. This is getting hard to select. Let me put the pointer there and trying to get rid of the border there, but you know, that's okay. At least we know there's a demarcation line here. So we're going to go ahead and insert additional shapes to make sure that we complete the link that we noted earlier, that we link these ones and these ones to themselves, these ones to one another, and then to the main page, and these ones to one another. So we're going to go back there and complete the link. So back, oops, where is that? So right here we want to insert. Let me get this line. No, change that. Regular line. So this will link to the main page, and I can copy it and paste and paste and paste. Oops, it's not doing that. All right. Hold, copy, hold down Control key. When you see that plus sign beside the cursor with what looks like a paper at the bottom of it fit, when you hold down the Control key, that means it's ready to copy. So I'm going to copy that again. Instead of going back to insert and selecting the same tool, I'm going to keep doing this until I do all the copies I want. And definitely I don't want them occupying space because they're going to cross path with these ones. So I'm going to go ahead and move it that way, move this one that way, and get that one that way. So having done that, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing for this side. And instead of going back to insert, I will try to copy it right, like so, and move that and keep copying. How many do I need? How many more? 4. I'm going to copy and copy and copy and copy. Alright, looks like it's taking shape now. Alright, so I'm gonna drag this up there and change this and change the angle. That way, change the angle, change that angle. Doesn't matter where they point, as long as they're pointing in the right direction. So all of them are pointed to the main page. What is this doing? It's telling the person designing the site how the pages will be linked. You want to make your site very user-friendly and navigable. So when somebody is looking in the local weather, they will have a link to click and go back to the main page. When they're on the feedback and ratings page, they can always go back to the main page. Maps and directions, they can always go back to the main page. So every one of these pages are linked to the main page. It's part of ways of making it user-friendly, so people can efficiently navigate away from a page to another. And once we have this in place, we can always go back and indicate there's a link between this and that, and that, and that. And then there's a link that they have to the main page. So to indicate that, here's what we can do. You can come here and get the arrow, the double-headed arrow. And sometimes when you put in these figures and shapes, you probably want to describe what they stand for. So this is rough and ready. I'm not going to go into details, but at least we have a general idea of what we're supposed to be doing to make this pretty clear. So I'm going to use this to show that there's a link between these two pages. So I'm going to go ahead and either copy or go back and get the same shape. So hold down Control key and copy, put it there. I'm going to copy again. So go back there and you can visualize what I was trying to do here. All these will be linked to one another and then to the main page. Are we achieving that? Yes. They're all linked to the main page, and look at this is showing links they have with one another. Pretty cool, huh? Let's clean this up a little bit. Make sure there are not a whole lot of intersections. Okay, you don't want these lines crossing paths because it's going to look like they are linked to where they're not supposed to. Okay, so these are linked to the main page, but not to one another. These are external sites, and these are internal ones that you have on your main page. So over here, there's always a way to get through something. That's what I like about these applications. Multiple ways to bypass a pain in the butt. I'm going to insert a column to the right. Insert another column. I'm going to split the cell. Margin before split. So here is a neat trick that we're going to use to trick this software to do what we want it to do without being a pain in the butt. So we do that. We're going to go back here and still bring external sides. There you go. It's now lined up. You don't really have to stick with one way of doing that. And I'm trying to see how we can select this alone and remove the border. Okay, we don't want border there. No, we remove the whole border now. That's not the plan. We want the border to disappear from the top. And which one of these will do it? Looks like is that one, right? Yes, that removed it. Over there, have it disappear from the bottom. Oops. Okay, so we got that in shape. We need to remove these ones as well. No, it's selecting the whole thing. So we can go back there and say remove the top border. Come over here and select. Try to clean it. Wow, this is getting harder to select. Alright, so the point we're trying to make here is we want to keep this channel blank to show the division there. Okay, selected. We want to remove the bottom border. There you go. Success. And we want to indicate what. Actually, at this point, I don't really mind this angling by the arrow if it's not going to stay straight. Or we might actually try a thicker one, see if it works better. So we're going to try a thicker arrow, like that one. There you go. Go back. Actually, let's try to copy here. See if it works. Yeah, that one is behaving better. Awesome. Wow, that was easier than I thought. Sometimes you just have to play around with it, and that will give you the result that you need. So it's taking shape now. Pretty much what we're looking for. Alright, then don't want that distortion there. We do want to move that back up a little bit. No, that's causing distortion. Alright, trying to move it causes distortion, so we're gonna go ahead and just expand this to accommodate the smoothness of the shape. So over here, click, drag, drop, closing the gaps one after the other, and that should do it. Alright, this is pretty awesome. It's looking pretty good. So we, as I said, we could actually use this over here to make it uniform, but it doesn't matter at this point as long as we get the whole thing working. No, what I'm looking for is not there. Might be fill color. Let's see if that gets the job done. Hopefully it's closer to the color that we had before. If not, we just leave it there. At least the task is done. And let's see what that looks like. Click OK. Huh. It's darker than the previous one, but at least it gets the job done. And you can always select another color, but they're both blue. And we can see that. So there's a difference in color there. You can always go back and forth to change it to make sure that the colors are uniform. So the whole idea here is that the two tools have been developed. The wireframe for Peter's Awesome Graphics Incorporated with the main heading, the index for the page, the business title or name, the description, then the contact information, and then we come to the storyboard. So this storyboard is not part, it looks like it's describing the wireframe. So let's hit enter to move it to where it belongs. So this will be the storyboard right there. Tells the story of the website and all the links that it has. Okay. So these ones link to one another and to the main page. These ones just link to the main page because they are what? External sites. These describe external sites, and these are internal sites that link to the main page. All right. Let's go back and see if we're missing anything. So many of these tools we talked about earlier, the free flowchart tools that Joel Lee put here, many of them here will help you achieve that. But what is the point trying to research all of them when you already have this in Microsoft Word? It's pretty awesome. I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. I'll say thank you very much for listening and having the patience to follow through to the end. Be sure to give it a thumbs up if you like, and send me your comments or suggestions. Let me know what you think, and if you have any topic in mind that you want me to address, let me know ASAP and I will get right to it. Once again, thank you, and I will see you in the next video.